What is an embarrassing moment that still haunts you? I have a few, but the worst, as I've said on here before, was when a colleague gave me a lift home from work as my wife was busy. When he dropped me off, I went into wife dropping me off default mode and leaned in for a goodbye kiss. Luckily for me, he wasn't looking and either didn't notice or had an existential crisis and never mentioned it. The walk to my front door was spent bemoaning the fact I had been born. I was running late one morning my junior year of high school and I had just missed the bus, but I had hoped if I ran after it maybe it would stop, so I started running. I got right alongside it, but my backpack was too heavy and I fell face first onto the road. I could hear everyone laughing, so I just laid there, pretended to be unconscious. Eventually I heard the bus leave and I got up and ran away, hid behind a neighbor's car. About a minute later the bus driver and 2 football players came running around the corner. Apparently the bus driver moved the bus to the field behind the neighborhood and they were going to come help me, but I was gone. I refused to get on the bus again. Fortunately I had already had my driver's license and a couple weeks later I got my first car, so it wasn't a problem. You know that half asleep brain mode where you kind of wake up but don't fully comprehend where you are? So at age 12 or so I woke up in the middle of the night with an upset stomach. I've got to fart. Whatever, I'm in my room. About 0.3 seconds into the longest fart of my life I remember that I'm not at home. I'm in the auditorium for some youth group sleepover thing. It's really freaking late. I hear quiet snores. Nobody around me moves, so I think God might actually be real and looking out for me. Then, from across the gym, I hear a girl yell, "Yo, what the freak?" I was pretty drunk at a bar when I approached 2 women sitting by themselves. I then proceeded to say, "What are 2 fine ladies like you doing all alone on Thanksgiving? It was Valentine's Day. It's not Thanksgiving. But I'm thankful that we met tonight, so it must be." I was at a water park with family and towards the end of the afternoon, a woman came up to me and whispered in my ear that I have a problem with my swimsuit. I reached behind and noticed a huge gap. The fabric was torn right in the middle and you could see my butt crack. I was running around like this all day and no one said anything. I was at the pool a few years ago when a 12-year-old boy shouted at me, "Hey lady, your tit is out." I have no idea how long my entire boob was out of my bikini top, but I choose to believe it wasn't long. Kids really do have a way with words. I had a full-on conversation with somebody and then I saw him bring his phone down from his ear. This is worse than thinking someone with wireless headphones was talking to you. So what do you think about that? About what? Do you mind? I'm on the phone. When I was 12 I had just watched a movie about a werewolf teen and I thought it was the coolest thing. So I used to have a girlfriend that was also 12, but we had broken up a couple of days prior to what I'm about to tell you. One day our group of friends got invited to my ex's cousin's birthday party and I was thinking of a way I could call her attention. It was 7 PM and the sun had went completely down and there was a full moon. You probably see where this is going now. I got to the building's lobby where all of my friends were waiting for everyone to show up, and when I walked through the door I just stood there looking at her and everyone was just staring at me. I started making a growling sound and showing my teeth as if I was becoming a werewolf and took off running. A few minutes later I showed up to the party and literally no one asked me what happened, so I had to bring it up out of nowhere acting as if I was nervous and told her, yeah, so sorry, my grandma wanted something and I forgot and I just got ignored." I'm 19 now and that still haunts me. I can't stop laughing at this. Thank you for sharing. Caught my aunt having fun in the living room and again in her room. You gotta knock before you open that door. Ain't that true? When my kids were growing up they had the annoying kid habit of just barging into my bedroom when the door was closed, as kids do. They never caught me doing anything like auntie here, but I was getting annoyed and wanted to break them of this bad habit. I came up with the ultimate idea. I said, "Look, one of these days you are going to barge into my room and see something you'll never get out of your mind. Like, I could be bending over naked with my butt towards the door and you'll forever have the image of my butthole burned into your brain for more. Do you want to risk that?" Turned out that was a hardback quote. Nope, and they never entered my room again without knocking. Also to get them to not just knock and walk in without waiting, I'd yell butthole after they'd knock and they'd wait until I said enter. Haha. Worked like a hot damn. Didn't eat fast food growing up. Went to Subway with friends a couple times in my early 20s but didn't order. Seemed confusing and intimidating. Began studying ordering techniques of friends so maybe I could try it someday. Day comes where I'm ready to take the next step. Have my order memorized. I knock down my request segment by segment, like I'm reciting a script I'd been up all night rehearsing. Foot long. Ham. White. Swiss cheese. Lettuce and tomato. Pretty excited because I'd nailed it. I stand idly by with my hands casually behind my back, lips optimistically pursed, trying to play it cool so everyone else could be fooled into thinking I'm a perfectly regular human being who totally ordered a sandwich before. Subway worker throws me a curveball. Is this going to be a meal? Not completely sure why he wants to know if it's going to be my entire dinner or not. Sort of thought he may have been inviting himself over or something. Just felt like really odd small talk to make. I become panicked and non-committal on the inside, still totally cool on the outside. I pause to contemplate for a moment, then I say, I don't know, we'll see. Worker freezes. Friend freezes. I'm still up on my toes, hands behind my back, casually staring ahead waiting to pay for my sandwich. Feels like an hour goes by, but a couple moments of silence pass before it's explained to me that a meal in this case means a sandwich, chips, and a drink. Friend never wants to be seen in public with me again. For background, I went to a school with 95% Asian kids, and it was common for a good amount of the student population to be ESL, English Second Language, students. However, I was not one of these students and my classmates all knew I wasn't. In English class the teacher had asked if anyone knew what being under duress meant, and I had misheard her, thinking she had asked what the term underdress meant. So I confidently raised my hand, which I hardly do cause I don't like answering questions, and said it means that person is not dressed for the occasion. Everyone in the class looked at me kind of processing what I had just said, and then the teacher realizes my mistake and says, oh no sweetie, that's underdressed. I'm asking about what it means to be under duress. This is when I realized I messed up. So the whole class has a nice giggle and she says it's okay, I know English is a hard language to learn, and the class laughs even louder as they realize the teacher had just assumed I was an ESL student. I was mortified. Please leave a like and subscribe.